Hello, friends. Hope you guys are doing well today, as well as I am. So today we have a Slayer on Truth from Fearanoia. He is playing against the entire NV squad over here. This is going to be a fun game to go over. Went over a little bit, and there's a lot of things to talk about, um, including the very start, which is going to be my favorite. But before we get into this game, let's talk about the RyaNoob reviews overall. So this week I've done 2 Slayers. I haven't really wanted to, but I didn't get many submissions of any other game types that I really wanted to go over that really had the criteria of going over. I mean, like 50 to 26 wins were submitted and stuff like that. So for next week, I'm going to try and get some more CTF gameplay. So if you guys could please send in those, that would help me out a lot. Really feel like I'm going to be able to talk about those a lot more and a lot better than these Slayer game types that I've gone over so far. So with that all said, let's get into this game. So the first thing he does is jump top middle. This is something that I really like to talk about, and starting shots is something that I like to basically give my input in. But when people do stuff that I don't normally do, I don't really talk about it because I'm not sure if that's the best or not really. So, if you're in a way jumps top middle, we're gonna go over a little bit. So when I jump top middle, you can either jump car addict to top middle or window to top middle, and then I kind of look this way. I see if they jump top middle themselves, but I don't really worry about car 2, and I kind of look at pink. He ends up looking at car, and we're going to see how this plays out for him. Wait, forgot, before I do that, let me turn down the game sound for you guys to about 14%. There we go. Alright. So yeah, he jumps car addict, gets the plasma grenades, and then jumps top middle. There's a lot of things wrong with this play. We're going to restart this. But I feel like this is something that he hasn't really like practiced too often. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna go top middle this game, and then he goes top middle, looks around, and ends up dying. Rather than like I go top middle every game, and this is my thought process while going through top middle. I look car 2, yada yada. So again, we're gonna watch this a little bit slower this time. So he doesn't see anyone pink. He looks out window. I guess he like turns straight to car. But usually you want to use this shield to block from car. So if they go to car 2, you push up further so you're not seen. And then it causes a lot of problems for the enemy team because if they're looking at you from car 2, your teammate like Tommy is going to be able to do stuff at car. So you don't want to sit on your side of top middle. You want to go to their side of top middle. It'll provide a lot more cover for you. But then he ends up nading car 2. I feel like this is also a mistake because they can't really go up to car 2. Look at where Tommy is at. This position, you're going to get a couple of shots off on car 2. And if the car 2 guys get shot while you're pushing forward into this spot, then you're going to end up winning the battle. You're going to get shot once, turn around, you're going to fight him. He can't back up because your teammates got him cornered. So overall, I really don't like the start. You need to be looking pink side or window. Ola ends up doing a late jump to top middle, which I think is kind of like he was like late because it's a matchmaking game. He's not really like fully into it. He's probably just AFK a little bit, but basically all the factors came together, and that's why he ended up going down. And his team should be in a bad position here. Yeah, 2 go down, 3 go down, and Will's the last guy. He ends up going down as well. So 4-0, and I can attribute that entirely, guys, to Fearanoia's start. Down 4-0 and full control to the other team. The only positive is that they burn camo. Entirely, guys. So usually you can't say like, oh, in past games. In past games, you can say one death caused the entire thing to like fall apart. But in this game specifically, in Halo 5 specifically, I feel like if you make one mistake, your entire team could get punished, and especially right off the start. If you're dying in the middle of the map like that, it frees up so much space to the other team. And so that top middle push is the most important thing in the map. You can't just go down that quickly without like putting up a fight. So he comes off spawn, gets a kill. Again, that kill was huge. Now his team's not going to get destroyed. I want to use a much more gruesome word, but this is going on YouTube. So he's being put in a lot of pressure. He's kind of just bouncing around. See, this entire time he's not really doing anything for his team, but there's not really much he can do, so there's not too much to talk about here. Gets into a fight, times his thrust extremely well, and then ends up staying alive, baiting the opponents out. Ends up going down, but that's fine. Ends up right there. He timed his thrust to where his opponent shot his third shot and is about to shoot his fourth. That's when he thrusts to make the fifth shot basically impossible to hit. But it also gives him a chance to hit it. Gets caught off guard. Kind of like a throwaway life. That happens a lot in Slayers on these small maps. So it's not too much to be taken away from that death right there. We're just gonna gloss over it, skip over it basically. So now with the combo, pushing into red base, he heard shots. So that's why he chose to go to this base and not blue. He heard shots from this side. He wants to push in the base because he has a combo and wants to do a lot of work for his team. Looking at the map right now, one player dead. That's L Town. Yeah, Ola and Pink 2. He's getting chased down by two teammates. The last two guys are red 2. In a professional game, I would suggest going back and blocking like card 2, blue bubble area, make them all 4 spawn at red, and then basically collapse on them slowly. He ends up pushing into the base. Now, let's wait for this to be shot. So let's talk about what's going on right here. Teammates or opponents are spawning blue bubble. They need to be aware of this. That's all because Fearanoia pushed into the base. In a professional level game, like a pro league match game, this is not a very high percentage play. This is gonna work out here, and I can't really like fault it too much because again, it works out. But in a professional league game, like a pro league game, this play is not a very high percentage play, and you're gonna get punished for it a lot more. Because you're forcing opponents to spawn behind you, and if you don't get a quick kill here, you're gonna die, and opponents are gonna take control of the map, rather than all you had to do is sit card 2 and force them to spawn in their base, and that would be a much higher percentage play, to where you're giving your team a better chance of doing well rather than yourself. So he ends up getting the kill, and now because he got that kill really fast, he's able to get that second kill really fast. Now, again, a low percentage play, they got 2 kills, and now they're in the same situation where opponents have control of blue base, and they've got control of red base and top middle, as well as pink 2. Looking at the map right now, if he could see that all players were in blue base, he should be sprinting to card 2, getting up there so that his opponents can't get there. If they got card 2, pink 2, and 1 base, the opponents are stuck in blue, simply put. But he can't see that, so it's hard to tell, so he's going to take it pretty slow. Pretty fast, but pretty slow at the same time. Alright. This is beautiful. Holy shit. This is beautiful. Alright, let's go back to his point of view. Oh, he's dead, isn't he? Come on, game. Alright, he just spawned. Alright, so again, forcing 4 players to spawn in red base, or 3 players, and Ola is doing his own thing, pink 2. If he does that, then they can slowly push in. But again, because he pushes into the base, he lets people get card 2 control. Because his opponents get card 2 control, as we see here in like 5 seconds, because they get card 2 control, he's putting his team in a very bad or weird position. I wouldn't say bad, but he's putting it so that they have no way to back up because of this card 2 angle. Card 2 can look pink 2, they can't go face anymore. You're just putting you're putting your team in a really bad position. But then he's also lost. He's not looking card 2. That's one more thing I want to talk about. Oh, I can't fast forward. Yeah, this is fast forwarding. This is me holding R right now. Alright, so Nick spawned. This is actually a really crucial play, just like the beginning, the opening strat, that could cause a big swing for either team. Get a drink. Alright. So, looking at where his team's at, look, there's 3 people pink 2. No reason for him to have like any sort of idea to look at pink. I think, yeah, 3 guys still pink 2. He ends up jumping top middle with 1, but there's absolutely no reason to look pink right here. Like, they've got that. That's under their control. If Lil Sane's running away from pink 2, that means that you don't need to look over there. They've got that either under control, or he's telling his teammate Fearanoia that he needs to get his ass looking over to car 2. And because of that, like there's several like ways to think about it. Like there's a couple of signals is what I would say. Is that one, three of his teammates were pink 2. Two, his teammates running away from pink 2, full shields, like confident that they have that controlled. Those two signals specifically should tell him to look at this side of the map. But because he doesn't, his team ends up going down pink 2. His team ends up going down pink 2. And his team ends up going down top, middle to bottom blue. So, several mistakes right there. And it could change this game from being, what was it, 11 to 7-ish, into being 12 to 11, as well as it could have been like 14 to 7 right now, easily, like simply. And then they could have still had control. So because one person makes a mistake, and I love this because one person makes what doesn't seem like a mistake, but is actually a pretty big mistake, it changes the entire outcome of the game. And then ends up going down. That's just a weird position where there's a guy in your base, there's guys in your bubble. He probably could have stayed alive better, but he wasn't expecting, like, he didn't know which way he could go or couldn't go because people could have been top middle as well. Alright, so he wants. Oh, this is a good play right here. So before those two players ended up going down, he wanted to push to their needles. I like to call this area their needles because that's where the needles was. And wow, what's the map called? Midship. So that's where the needles were, and so that's what I like to call them. But because he's pushing through to the needles, he's cutting off the idea that they can get to pink. So as long as he doesn't die, then they can't like run away from pink 2. His teammates can push in easily. It's a couple of things like that, and he's taking like the risky play. Like he's probably gonna end up trading like 0 for 1, which means he's gonna die and he's not gonna get a kill, but his team's gonna have a lot of control because of it. But because those two players just get taken down pretty simply, it ends up not mattering at all. And now they're going to have control of this camo right here. He ends up leaving because, again, two players are dead, and his team's going to be able to get the camo, so he's going to try and help a lot, like, very fast. This is some really strong gameplay right here. Ends up going down from behind, but again, like, that was really strong gameplay. Not really much to fault. Alright, so spawning bottom blue. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, so before we picked up Chad, our analyst, SSB Chad, he, well, not before, but right after we picked him up, he talked to me about one of my biggest, not my biggest flaw, but something that I could easily just pick up and I'd start like getting one plus more positive each game. It's like, dude, you're not picking up the power weapons, like the simple power weapons, the carbines, the BRs, the storm rifles. You're just like running past them. For instance, you spawn bottom blue, you just run right past the storm rifle. Like, there's a storm rifle right here. He spawns and just walks right past it. If you just pick that up, like when you walk past it rather than just walking over it, that'll equate to like one more kill on the board and one less death. You'll just win a 1v1 rather than losing it. Probably like once a game. And again, just the little things that'll help out your gameplay a lot. It's just that simple. Mm. Hoo-hoo. This one's my favorite. Alright, chat. Time to get into it. Yes. Alright. What was the big mistake here? Whoo! Alright, guys. What was the big mistake here? I'm going to play this one more time. His team's got camo. He's got blue base control. No one on the opponent's here in blue base. Two people just walk into blue base, force him back, and then he ends up getting down. His opponents do whatever the fuck they want. What was the big mistake here? Hope I have enough people in the chat that'll talk. Let himself be seen on radar. No. back up one more time. And let's pause it here. Alright, so this one's a fun one for me because looking at where his team's at, this is actually like a perfect setup. In my opinion, having them stuck at car, you have both bases controlled, and you can have like a 2-2 split where you can rotate through pink to each base depending on which base they overload. Um, I think that this is a prime example of what Renegades did to us whenever they beat us like 50 to 20 something, and I only had one kill. I think that this is exactly the play that will cause a 50 to 28 happen, or a really close game, depending on whether or not you can win these battles. Should have stayed bottom Eli because it would have had help pink too. Depending on what your teammate did, that could be okay, but no. Didn't call out. He dropped bottom base. He didn't have anyone looking at him. No. All right. So this is something. This is something that you can do solo, but you need help. You specifically need a lot of help here. You need to hold like this spot right here, this doorway. They can't come through this doorway without you getting them killed before they drop to the bottom base. All right. So you have 2 grenades. You have a splinter grenade as well. You need to be bouncing the grenades.
Hey, bud.
Oh crap. Hey, bud.
You here, bud?
Doing a stream. Oh shit, he can't hear me. All right. So when you see this guy, when he backs up, maybe you're a little late, but you need to be keeping them out of the base. That's the basic thing that you need to do here. It didn't end up working out this time, and we're gonna. Wow. I wanted to back it up a little bit, but you cannot let them get into the base. Either you took too long getting into the base to block off the door, or yeah, because you ended up going pink addict, or you can just go into the base simply through the flag, but you cannot let them get in through that door. So yeah, look how long you take to get up into the pink addict, and because you heard a thrust, you can start grenading the door early. You can tell your team, hey, they're coming into the base. Look, Ian's over here. Ian needs to be making his way into the flag, but you need to be doing a better job at holding the door. If you stop them from going into the door, your teammate can easily come to this spot and hold it off with you. And then you can use the window, you can drop down to basement or go up into car attic, but you cannot let them get through that door. That is probably the most important thing on this entire game, is when you have control of a base, do not let them get through that door. Because you let them get through that door, your team can't help you, and then you're stuck in the bottom of the base. You showed up on radar for a second, but I don't think Ola saw that. But they do end up, because they know you're there, they both end up turning around and killing you. I think that this is the most important thing in the game. Would it be better if he stayed at the pink door? In some situations, like if you know that they're going to be there quickly, then you can just sit at the pink door. But because it was an awkward time, he went up to attic, and as they were coming into the door. But it's not really better to sit on the pink door rather than the attic. It's just it's faster, so sometimes it'll end up working. Ooh, this is something I wanted to talk to you. Like normally, I don't talk about the opponent's gameplay very much when going into these games, but I just wanted to point out how strong the Envy and specifically L-Town this game, and a little bit of Rain. I think Rain ends up destroying Fearanoia once, but specifically L-Town, you'll notice a couple of times he kind of just like wins the game by himself. He doesn't like win the game, but he wins the game by himself by putting his team in a really good position because of the plays that he makes. And I'll try and point it out a little bit more, but getting like that kill right there, he's holding control of blue base by himself, gets a kill top middle, and is still holding blue base by himself. And that's something that like it's not too important in this position, but I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't know. Just wanted to showcase how good L-Town and Envy are in general because of some of the plays. That was one of them. What's this play? Alright, so two of his teammates were dead. He wanted to make a quick play here, but because two of his teammates dies, he rethinks his position. Ends up doing an alright job staying alive. Oh, here's the second play. Whew. Oh my, oh my goodness, L-Town, you are so good at this game. I don't know how many people caught it, and oops. I don't want to make this like too long of a session or something. I don't. This is just something quick that I just want to point out how good L-Town is at this game. How good at mind games he is, and this is something that's like really only noticeable at the highest level. It only works at the highest level and is only noticeable. And I mean, it's super simple, but you'll just see how people like L-Town are able to do it so constantly. So L-Town and Ola need to get this guy to the bottom of the base. This guy's got Fearanoia has a storm rifle. Yeah, it's a little radar juke. So he is they basically want to drop at the same time, but if they drop at the same time, Fearanoia can get into a 50-50 battle with a storm rifle and end up getting a trade, and that can stop a lot of momentum from Envy. But because L-Town jumps up to the top of the base, makes Fearanoia jump, like turn around, while Ola's coming into the bottom of the base, like this is unbelievably good gameplay from L-Town. Like, it doesn't drop right away, drops a little bit late, and causes Fearanoia a lot of problems. So I just want to say, like, my god, L-Town is unbelievable sometimes. Alright, so he just died bottom red, and then he spawned bottom red. So that's something to note in these games. Usually you don't spawn where you died, but because all of the other positions are blocked, there's pink 3 bottom blue and blue car. Because all these positions are blocked, he's going to spawn bottom red, which means he needs to get up as fast as possible. His team's being collapsed on. He needs to do something. Ends up getting a nice pick off here, but yeah, good play here. His team ends up getting another kill, which encourages him even more to get up top. But good gameplay there, getting up on top of the map. Now that's 4 dead. A little late to notice, and because of that, he turns around a little slow. I don't want to talk too much about things that could have been changed. I mean, that's what I'm here to do, right? I'm reviewing a game. But this is something that's small and big at the same time, and you'll see it cost him a death here, is that there's 3 dead. When that 4th guy shows up on the death thing, that means that they can't be there anymore. There could, I guess, be a 2nd guy, blue bubble, but because your teammate isn't shooting anymore, blue card, blue bubble, you know that guy was blue bubble. You know he's dead. You shouldn't be looking at blue bubble at all. Because of that, you end up getting taken down. I feel like you could probably have ended up staying alive there. Again, not too big of a deal, but it's just something that you have to like, that the top players are going to be able to outplay you in a situation. Ooh. For anyone who was here Monday, would you guys like to not explain, but I guess I'll just talk about it. When you spawn not in the base, alright, so I talked about this on Monday. When you spawn, usually you're gonna spawn right here or directly under this, because that's the furthest position away from your opponents that you're available to spawn at. There's like blue bubble, red bubble, back red, back blue, and then there's some blue pink and red pink spawns. There's also car 1 spawns, but those aren't very common. This is something really important, especially in Slayers, a little bit in Flags, because you'll like spawn in your bubble while the opponent's in your base. That's something simple to know. But you know that you basically just got to trade kill with Mikwin, car 2. So if you don't spawn back of the base here, that means that someone spawned there. Oh shit. That's just something I've noticed and observed through multiple games, and I really am going to keep tackling throughout these games that I'm reviewing, is that when you don't spawn in your base, when you spawn on like the Eli or something, Regret, Truth, and I'm sure there's a couple other maps, when you spawn in the Elis instead of the base, and you look into the base, you don't see your teammates, you don't see your opponents, that means that someone spawned there, or someone is there. So watch. He spawns on the Eli because Austin spawned first under the base. Right? Like, pretty self-explanatory once you understand the core concept of it. And while it doesn't matter too much because Austin goes front the base, well, It ends up, look, he ends up getting the kill. But just being aware of that will help out a lot. Ends up getting 2 kills and then dying. Ola didn't show up on radar until like the last second, so no big deal on that death. Trying to finish up this kill. Forced to drop. Ooh, ends up getting team-nated, right? Yeah, team-nated. That's a little unfortunate. You can't really blame anyone in that specific situation. I think that you could have dropped faster, but again, not too big of a deal. I guess I was camo guy. It's weird position, guys, front of your base. Oh, you get a lucky kill and a nice double kill. All right. Come on, Ola, look at your radar. All right. So, in general, some pretty good gameplay right there. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Mostly just opponents not making correct plays, and so you're not getting trade kills. You're getting plus kills. You're getting like unaccompanied kills. You're just catching people off guard when you shouldn't really be in. So that's more of a mistake on Envy's end rather than a good play on your end, but it's also like a strong play on your end to capitalize on that mistake. So controlling pink 2. Before we get into this, let's have a look at the map. And I like to have player outlines on because when you're in the game, you can have a really good sense of where people are. But when you're in theater, you don't really have that sense without having the outlines on. So I really like to have these on. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I would say like you know where 3 of the opponents' general positions on the map are. So let's look at the map. You have a guy card 2 to the bubble. I think you guys have an idea that he's there. You know that they're going to be stuck at red and kind of coming up the street. So in this position, you're the furthest guy up. I really want to see how this plays out because this is the most important guy on the map. Your teammate died. I don't know how long until he respawns. Alright, so he just respawned. So again, looking at the map, this is pretty even territory. It could go either way. Grabbing the BR, good, but you kind of left yourself open to a pink push there without checking it or anything. So you could have gotten caught off guard, but it didn't end up punishing you. So you see people on radar, you get caught off guard. Let's watch this again. I think that this was a mistake on your end to not check the pink street. Normally when I go up to pink 2, I check the pink street, and I think this is why. If you let them get up to nerd, here, let me look at this one more time. So again, 2 dead. You have an idea that there's a guy card 2. If you check this pink street right now, you get a free kill, or at least a free attempt at a kill, right? And then that stops that whole debacle from like unfolding. But because you don't check the pink street, he gets up to pink 3. You kind of have an idea that he's pink 3, and then you end up getting rushed by a second guy and going down. I think that that can be just completely solved by checking the pink street rather than straight going for the BR. Again, I'm not saying that my advice is 100%. I'm just saying my opinion on how to fix up the gameplay a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion on how I would play the situation out, and hopefully helps a little bit. I don't know. What I'm saying is I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that this would work 100% of the time, but it's something to keep in mind. There we go. That's the best way to describe it. Maybe test it out and see if it works out for yourself. Ooh, crack. Alright, so same situation as before. Actually, it's a different situation as before because there's 2 guys red 2. They've got pink 2 control. You guys are in a situation where you need to make a play. Alright? Yeah, your team's distracting them. This is that weird, awkward, I don't know what to do situation. So you end up pushing to the base. You appear on radar. He turns around. Get the NV rain kill. And that's kind of just a trade kill. So you could have gone car 2, could have controlled red car and top middle for your team, and then kind of and a little bit of pink 2, and made some plays that way. But in the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's not a bad play, not a good play, just a play. You can look at Pink Street from top mid also with the BR. No, you can't look at Pink Street from top middle. And I'm not saying you physically can't look at Pink Street from top middle. What I'm saying is you go here, you're fucking dead. you're just you're dead. Like you can't check this area without dying. And I'm not saying dying as you'll die before you get back into pink 2. I mean, you lose so much control of this area by getting weak that they can just push up and kill you, right? Um, so no, you can't just check like once you have the BR, you can't check that. You'll die from car 2, you'll die from window, you'll die from basement, whatever it may be. You can't do that. So I'd have to disagree with you there, Gabby. Um, Alright, so again, ooh. So 2 of his teammates are dead. He needs to make a play here. Damn. I'm not sure if you missed or what happened there, but Tim really put the beat down on you. Happens, whatever. Hope it doesn't get the best of you. Alright, so I think Austin just got camo. Oh, great grenade there. Let's back up and watch that again. So let me answer. Would backing up and jumping ping 3 be the best play? I wouldn't say the best play. I'd say it's like okay, it's a safe play, but I think holding inside ping 2 is a pretty good it's a pretty good standard play. It's just if you're not able if you would have checked the needles first, let's pause it before we go. If you would have checked the needles first from the pink 2 and then backed up, grab the BR, then you can do whatever play you want. If you sit inside pink 2, you know there's not a guy nerd dropping down on you soon. And then you give enough time for your team to be able to look ping 3 in a couple of seconds to stop that guy from dropping face. Alright, so camo's coming up here. This is just a great grenade. Like usually I don't throw these types of grenades. I always throw the deep one into the base or into the pink. But throwing this one in short forces Ola to come out. This is just like I don't know if this was accidental or what it was, but either way it worked out spectacularly. As Ola has to stay out. He gets grenaded twice, ends up going down. Mikwin with the camo ends up going down. Alright, he went down, guys. And because of that 48 to 43 lead, like let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Come on, guys. Like holy shit. Do you know what just went right there? Like it was one thing. This one grenade. That's it. That one grenade. Ola's like, "Oh shit." 42 to 44. Camo's like coming up, Austin's sitting on it, and Ola just like pokes out. Look at him. Will's coming out. Noia is here. That one kill just solidified this entire game. Otherwise, it's 44 to 42. Camo's up, and Envy have it. So unbelievable, honestly. And yeah, just trying to end the game as fast as possible. I like this. Just kind of running at them with your team. Hopefully everything ends up going out well. Here comes Sal. Sal is just such a good player. Like, he knows both the players are top. If he gets a kill bottom, his team can make a play here. Look, Sal ends up staying alive. 48-46. That was all Sal. Like, he ends up going down eventually, but he put his team in, like, a really, really good position right there. So 49-46, basically just don't. Alright, so in this position, the only way that you lose this game is if you die without doing anything. So if you run pink 2, you get nade shotted, you go down, they have pink control. You could be in a, that's the only way you lose this game. So here he doesn't kind of charge in. He used his thrust a little bit, but so I don't really like that. Yeah, he knows like, guys, I gotta get back. Oh shit, I'm in some trouble. Just trying to stay alive a decent a decent amount. And then once his team has ping 2 control, he's like, guys, I'm going out. We're charging in. Blah blah blah, and they end up winning the game. So because he challenged that guy ping street, his teammates were able to get the kill ping 2. Let's actually watch that one more time because that's actually pretty fascinating. Um, you're like, dude, why did he just jump out like that? Yeah. So let's watch this from a third person perspective. Woo. So I don't like that step up into the pink. You need to be back a little bit so if they do hit you with a grenade, you don't get shot. So this is ending the game right here. You've given enough time for your team to get in some sort of position to basically fight at a 49 to 46 spot. So all you need is one kill. You hear shots in pink 2. You hear like ARs, SMGs. You know 2 of your teammates are in there. So by fighting Sal here, Sal isn't able to get in front of Ian and Will to stop Ola from going down. Like, I just want to. I love talking about stuff like this because this isn't something that's noticed often. This is a 0 for 1 trade. God, that's so annoying. You're annoying. Alright, so he ends up going down here. 0 for 1 trade right here, but his team ends up winning the game. And overall, it was a net positive for Fearanoia right there. And so I'm really happy that he made the play. Woo. So, overall, it was a little bit of a shaky start. I think that a couple of core things could have been changed. Again, just my opinion, and um, I know I hold a decent amount of weight, but I'm not saying that I'm right. So at the beginning, when he pushed from car into the base, when there's only 2 people left alive on their team, they had like, so your team had blue base control, pink 2, card 2, and I think a guy top middle. If you guys just let them spawn into red and hold card 2 with the combo instead, you're gonna end up seeing like a better experience. You're gonna have better experiences than just pushing to the base like that. You're kind of just pushing for kills rather than seeing the big picture, and that's something that I really try to focus on in my games. Um, Overall, your fights were really good. You're hitting your shots. You're just like you're at that point where you're a strong player and you have a strong team behind you. But in order to get up to the next level, the next rung on the ladder, you have to think bigger collectively, in my opinion. And that's not easy to do. It's going to take a lot of time, but I really appreciated going over this game because these are the types of games that I was asking for. I think that I'm able to look like I'm not just seeing people missing shots and that's why they're losing. I'm able to see you're making good plays in theory or a couple of good plays like normally, but here's how you should change it because of this change or this change in the overall game, like this specific example. There we go. And I'm able to look at stuff like that. So once in the game you push from car to the base, and you didn't need to because you could have forced all your opponents to spawn there. Later in the game you push from car to the base again, and it ended up being the correct play because your team ended up going down. And so that's something that I really would like to go over and talk about because you have a general understanding of how you want to play the game, but now you're gonna have to take that general understanding and uh, get specific every single time in every game. So that's it for today. If Now is the time to go over questions. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, please let me know. If there's specific examples or just overall of this game or Truth Slayer in general, I will be happy to answer. Hopefully it's not too vague of a question. Um, Now I'm going to check the chat a little bit and then I'm going to do my outro. Alright. I don't know, Anisha. Word stutters? Yes, I do have some word stutters. Does spawn awareness make it somewhat pointless? Talking about the grills fans, I have no idea what they were talking about. If you give me a picture, might be able to answer that better. Do you do this every day? No. I do this every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna go over games. Trying to set a schedule for myself. I don't want to give myself too much of a workload. Like I don't want to say like, oh, 5 days a week, and then just like not feel like doing it, and then kind of burn out. So I want to just give myself like, hey, I'm gonna do this every Monday and Wednesday. Actually set something up, and then depending on the support or not support, the level of support, I need to cut it down to like once a week or not at all, or maybe amp it up in the future. So yeah. So when you died bottom blue to Sal and Ola, you said they shouldn't go through the blue door. Would going back to pink have been another decent alternative? In my experience, no. I would say getting a trade kill. So he was talking about the time that the guy was in Fearanoia was on the Eli and going up to the pink addict and didn't let them get through the door. You're asking the question of would be going back to pink, like going back to pink 2, I assume it'd be a good option. I would say no. It'd be better option just to sit on the Eli and end up getting a trade kill than going back to pink and giving up so much control. Nerzo asks, CLG's been pretty good at this game type for a while. In your opinion, what is it that they do so well in this game type? I feel like their movement is much better so that they don't make any individual mistakes, which translate into a lot more teamwork. And on this map, if you're faced with like a shot or two across the map that you shouldn't be getting shot from because individual skill, then you're gonna end up like in trouble to the person in your base. So I think that because they're just so good individually and so good at map movement and stuff, then you'll see that translate into more help around the map and just absolute dominance. Also because it's a lot easier on this map to get into a spawn trap because of getting through that blue door like I talked about. Do you think when you spawn, it's good to look at your other teammates? I'm guessing you left out teammates to get an idea of where your opponents are going to spawn. Yes, very good. Like unbelievably good to look at where your teammates are at. You can also look at the radar on the bottom left. It has dots as to where your teammates are on the map. And so if you know your teammate's spawning, you don't even have to check behind you. If you just see a dot on the radar behind you come up, then you know your teammate spawned behind you. And you can say, hey, guy that spawned, come with me. Stuff like that. So there's like a bunch of things that you can do. Does connection play any role in gunfights? Not really in this game. Should do it on a weekend. I like to keep my weekends open. So my girlfriend works from 9 to 5 and then goes to school from 5 to like 9 or 10 Monday through Friday. So I like to keep the weekends open for her. All right, just a couple more. Maybe that. I don't know. How important is it to go into custom games with your entire team and talk about how you want to control a map? Do pro teams do this a lot? I wouldn't say a lot. I'd say they try to have a general understanding, and then from that general understanding, they evolve their thought process, and they can just talk about it in custom games after. So I'd say at least once, do it at least once, but then after that, it's not too important. Why does it feel like my headshot will not register? I don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't know. I love these scheduled reviews. Great stuff. Thanks. See, like that's exactly what I hope to accomplish. Rather than in the past, I just did it randomly. Like if I felt like doing it, I'd do it. But now I have a set time. So, what, in your opinion, is the best way to improve your shot? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's I can't answer questions like that, honestly. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. This is about a 45-minute review, and I think that's exactly perfect. Yesterday was only a 30-minute, and I felt like it was a little short. But today I was able to talk about a lot of things, both small, large, individual, team, as well as like overall general core concept of the game. And so I'm really happy with today. So if, again, I talked about this before the stream, but a lot of people are joining in as well as it's going on YouTube. So just a reminder, please submit games of CTF for next week. I'm going to be preferring CTF. I'm not saying that I'm only going to do them next week, but CTF's not on Stasis. I haven't figured out that map yet. So CTF's on the other 3 maps. If you could submit those, that would help me out a lot, and really want to talk about those. So next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern, make sure to be there. Let me check my chat before saying goodbye. All right. Again, thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.